Hey Project Fam, 'tis the season for me to get started on another project. I am going to plant peppers on top of a barrel. Inside this barrel is going to be nothing but fluid. Okay, more like plant food. And this is what I did a couple of seasons ago. I set a tomato plant on top of a barrel filled with tomato plant food. It's pretty much a set it and forget it method. It's called Kratky. I wrote a story about it. Want to hear it? Here it goes. Back in June of 2020, that's week 0. So this is when I planted the tomatoes on top of the barrels. 2 weeks later, they're starting to take off. You can see how they're growing. I didn't do anything. Then 3 weeks in, these things just took off. They are constantly drinking the nutrients. I call it plant food. You can call it nutrients. By 4 weeks, these things look like full-grown bushes. And by August, which is 7 weeks, we're almost ready to harvest. I really didn't do anything other than put tomato cages around them and make sure the wind didn't blow them over. And we were harvesting between 12 and 19 weeks. So that's 7 weeks of just harvest. We had so many tomatoes, I stopped picking it. They pretty much just fell to the ground. Let the animals eat it. We put tomatoes on salad. We made pasta sauce. We made a lot of pasta sauce. This thing grew so much. Even the roots grew. I had like 5 barrels of just tomatoes. But this year we're going to change it up. I have 7 barrels. Each barrel will get a different pepper. And this was pretty much my inspiration. This was my habanero from last year. Again, so many habaneros, they were starting to turn red. I didn't even know habaneros turn red. I got all my peppers together. I put them on the smoker. Big shout out to the big green egg. I smoked all the peppers until I can grind them up. They were like hard flakes. So I pretty much mixed it all together and I made a hot pepper flake powder. But I'm not here to tell you what I did 2 years ago, even if it was awesome. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to get started planting some seeds for our 7 pepper barrels for 2022. All right, so our first is going to be my jalapeno. Can't go wrong with jalapeno. Oh, let's add some cayenne. And then my second favorite peppers, the Carolina Reapers. After the Carolina Reaper, we'll plant some yellow Jamaican pepper. I do think that's Scotch bonnet. And then we're going to have some ghost pepper. And my favorite pepper of all is the orange habanero. Ooh, that was a mouthful. All right, let's get started. Everything I use here, I'll leave a link in the description so you can purchase. So those are my seed starting trays. I'm sure I'm going with rock wool, my little paintbrush. Why do I have a paintbrush? To be determined. So I'm soaking my rock wool in some water. And I am squeezing the rock wool into the tray. I think those are like 1.5 inch openings. And fast forward a little bit. That's right. Patience for 2022. All right, so that tray is done. Now the most important thing is labeling these plants. So I'm going to write some labels for all 7 of the vegetables, the peppers. And I'm going to have a lot of plants because I'm going to have 7 different rows and 5 of each. And then I'm going to do something a little special. Whereas if you look in the center of the rock wool, there's already a hole for a seed. I'm going to add another hole around 10 o'clock. See me poking extra holes in because I want to make sure that if one seed doesn't germinate, at least I'll get something out of that. And there I am. I just added some holes, and those are cherry tomatoes. And if you haven't seen cherry tomato seeds, man, it's like dust. Yeah, they're very, very small. And if you didn't know, growing tomatoes, whether they're the hybrid tomatoes or the big tomatoes, man, they grow like weeds. You can't stop them. I had so much tomatoes and the bush was too tall. Like I couldn't trim it down. It was way too much. Therefore, I am not putting cherry tomatoes inside the, why am I planting that? But I'm not putting cherry tomato inside my 7 drums. So there I am. I'm putting the seed and I'm using the paintbrush, and then I'm going to cover up this seed. Seeds don't like light, so I'm going to cover it up. When the seed is ready to grow, it'll pop right through that rock wool. Rock wool almost feels like insulation. Like the insulation inside the wool. So there I am. You see the extra hole I put in the top left-hand corner. So if that seed does not germinate in the center, at least I do have something growing out of that rock wool. And I will do this for the entire tray. And look at my labels. And that's what I did. So cherry tomato, cayenne, jalapeno, Carolina Reaper, chocolate Reaper, habanero, ghost pepper, and yellow Jamaican pepper, aka Scotch bonnet. Those are my peppers. Each one of those peppers will be planted inside a blue barrel. And just to show you that I use seed starting trays for more than just rock wool, I'm going to plant some marigolds in soil. And that's some soil that I had around. It's very dry. The bag was not closed, so I added some water and I'm mixing it up with a paint spatula. And then I'm going to add, look at the mess I'm making. Oh boy, it's a good thing I covered up the table. So I'm adding the mixture of dry soil and water into this seed starting tray. And then I'm going to cover it up and poke holes just like we did with the rock wool. And I'm going to add marigold seeds to all of those holes and then add a thin layer of soil on top of those seeds. So I think I have enough soil, moist soil on top of this seed starting tray. Very good. Someone should be wearing gloves. I'm not going to mention any names. I'm going to lightly press down on each hole just to make sure I don't have any voids of air. Just lightly pushing down. And not only are marigolds really pretty, oh, there they go. I actually have some from last year I couldn't even find a pull of seeds. That's what it looks like. So I'm going to plant those. So marigolds is actually one of the best insect repelling plants. They have a scent that keeps mosquitoes away, which is really good. And it attracts other insects to kill amphids. And if you know what an amphid is, you'll know how much you hate them, especially if you have a lot of green leafy vegetables. So near all of my plants, I will plant marigolds. If I have a small pot, I will plant a little marigold along with my flower. I'll show you later on. A marigold looks like pencil shaving. If you ever sharpened a pencil, that's what it looks like. It looks like pencil shavings. So it's really tedious work to get those marigold seeds down in the moist soil. Okay, maybe tedious is not the best word. You gotta be patient. This is definitely helping my patience. It's helping my stress. Gardening is fun. It relaxes me. I enjoy watching things grow. I don't even eat everything that I grow. It's just so much, but I do enjoy the process. I do enjoy the projects. That's a lot of the reasons why I do it. But this year, these peppers are going to be put to work. I do make hot sauce. I do a lot of good things with peppers. After I put the seeds in the hole, I lightly cover it with some soil. And that should be good. If that wasn't moist enough, I'll add some water. So a lot of you might be thinking, well, I don't have space to do this, or I don't have that. A lot of my gardening ideas come from not having space and not having a yard. So you'll notice I have a lot of plant boxes. Even my hydroponics I grow inside the house is because I don't have a lot of light and yard space. So I have yard space, but I don't have good light. You really don't even need a yard. You can grow a lot of these things actually inside your house. So here we are. That's the tray we just made. Look at that, nicely labeled. Those are my marigolds sitting up front. Those are some tall seating trays. I'll do a review on them at some point. I do love those. I just purchased those. And there it goes. Thanks for watching. Please SSL subscribe. Subscribe, share, and like.